Angels Care Home Health, serving Hayes and the surrounding areas, is a Medicare-certified home health agency providing quality skilled nursing and restorative therapy services to patients in their homes.
I would recommend Angel Care to anybody. They have really helped me regain my strength.
Angels Care is there to help 24 hours a day, and all services are covered 100% by Medicare for patients who are eligible. Angels Care Home Health. We serve patients.
I couldn't have survived this without Angels Care.
Eagle Community Television presents Community Connection with your host, Mike Cooper.
Hello and welcome again to Community Connection from Eagle Community Television. Thanks for watching, and thanks to our producer, Jeff Durall. We're at the Hayes Regional Airport inside the screening area with the new airport manager of the Hayes Regional Airport, Nathan Marcucci, as we talk about the airport renovations. And Nathan, let's first of all describe what's behind us here. Is this the TSA setup, the screening area that we're here in?
Yes, so right here you see that we have the bag screening area. It's basically a giant x-ray machine, and from what it does is you stick your bag in one end and it basically looks and sees what's in your bag and looks for suspicious items. I don't know exactly what they're looking for because it's not something that I'm trained in, but generally if they see something, they're going to pull it aside, and sometimes they're going to just get randomly, it'll sometimes tell them to randomly check as well. Mm-hmm. So, but that's what this is. It's one of the newest models, and it's pretty fast, it's pretty good, and it's pretty efficient. So.
Now this particular area is part of the new remodeling area, right? That
Correct.
we're in now.
So before this was remodeled, we'd be standing outside. Mm-hmm. So. Today's a pretty windy day. It's a pretty decent day, but for the most part, we have, a brand new area that's it's better sized for, equipment such as this, and for our passengers especially. The last screening area was a little bit cramped, and it would have never ever fit a machine this size. Mm-hmm. And generally speaking, with a 50-seat passenger jet, it would have got cramped pretty quick.
And the seating area for those who fly Hayes on a basis either intermittently or regularly, the seating area, the waiting room area, if you will, is still the same. Then you come in through the screening area. Then you go down this corridor to the actual waiting room itself, waiting for the plane after you've been screened, right?
Correct. So basically you start here, you put your stuff through the beginning of the machine, you pick your stuff up here, and then you head out down the hallway, and you have waiting area, and generally you don't have to wait too long because the airplane's generally here by the time you're ready to go. So maybe you'll be there for hopefully no more than 30 minutes.
And it's a huge waiting area now compared to the cramped
Right.
space that used to be.
That's correct.
Talk about the other improvements that maybe aren't quite so visible here. I know the restrooms have been redone.
The restrooms outside in the lobby area were renovated to be ADA accessible. We have restrooms past the checkpoint, whereas in the old screening area we had no restrooms past the checkpoint. Mm-hmm. And with Great Lakes, the 19-seat turboprop didn't have any restrooms on the airplane itself, but with the CRJ-200 we have restrooms. So now with the renovations and the CRJ-200, we have restrooms past the checkpoint, before the checkpoint, and on the airplane. And that's a big deal. Before you had to leave security just to, go to the bathroom and had to get screened again. Every time you get screened, it's kind of a hassle for you as the passenger, and it just makes things makes things take a little bit longer.
Plenty of seating now in the new waiting room area. Are there other areas, Nathan, that we can't see necessarily that have been made in improvements here at the regional airport?
Specifically, so mostly so the one part that I like the best, that the old security screening area, that screening area has now been turned out into it's kind of flexible space. So basically what happens is if we do have more than 50 seats that we need to fill, we can close that off and make that a secure area, so for a secure waiting room basically. And so we can make sure that the passengers have somewhere comfortable to sit in there. And also, while that's not being used as a screening space, it's just open to the public, and it's got a very nice bay window that you can come and look at. airplanes, and I really welcome you guys to come and look at the bay window through the bay window and come talk airplanes and just see what's here to even when the flight's not here, there's still something generally here. The other thing about that area is that we're going to have a bag return. As you see right there, there's a roller belt. It's going to just have it's going to be about an 18-foot roller belt, and it's going to it's just going to roll off through the window. So,
wow.
Yep. Instead of having to get it through the garage door.
That'll be quite an improvement as well. So are there new upgrades coming? Are there more features that are coming then here at the regional airport?
Not necessarily at the terminal, but there's airfield improvements that are going to be happening later on. The one thing that's in the airport capital improvements plan is we're hoping to get a fence for wildlife to keep small and large wildlife off the field as much as possible. Can never do too much about birds. Birds in aviation are, it's not something that fits very well, but it's what we deal with on a daily basis anyway.
It's something you just have to deal with, basically, kind of like the weather, I guess.
Right, but that's a safety issue. The other improvements that we're looking at, actually this year, the Crosswind Runway. The Crosswind Runway basically is used when the wind's not blowing down the main runway. But the Crosswind Runway, we're removing some panels, and we're replacing the concrete panels that have failed, and strengthening the pavement with the new concrete panels.
That was also part of the improvements, wasn't it? The extension of the runway to make room for Skywest.
I don't know specifically. From what I've heard, it wasn't exactly extended. It was mostly just shifted 400 feet to the south. But that I think basically it made it so you didn't. So basically, I think if we didn't shift it, we'd have to displace the beginning of the runway south, and then that makes that portion of the runway unusable anyway. So I think that in 2013, before I got here, they strengthened the runway a little bit, and they made it so we could land larger jets here. And then they did cut 400. I think it was 400 feet off the north end, and just I think at this point we haven't really gained that 400 feet back yet.
Well, obviously, we have to talk numbers because that's a very important part of the overall Hayes Regional Airport, isn't it, Nathan?
Yep. So numbers are, numbers play a large role in everything. There's the numbers of, from the strength of the pavement to the amount of passengers that we pull through here.
What about the passenger numbers? Talk about that and its importance and how that all relates into the overall airport picture.
So there's passenger numbers. Passenger numbers count in specific ways. The one way that I can think of that probably many people in town have heard about is the 10,000 passenger enplanements. So what that does is it signifies to the Federal Aviation Administration that this airport is enplaning or boarding 10,000 passengers a year, and it puts us in a category to qualify for $1 million. But more importantly, I think that those numbers are important to us because it can show Skywest that yes, that there is a demand here, and that when there's a demand, that they're going to be able to serve us better. And I like Skywest. I like what they do. They have a really good service, and I just want to be the airport that they serve better than everybody else. So.
And obviously, as a business, Skywest needs the enplanements, the boardings, to be able to make the money, to make the planes affordable to come to Hayes.
Right, and it's kind of like a chicken and an egg question. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? And it's either way. I just got to do my part to make sure the chicken and the egg fit.
So Skywest has been a good company to work with.
I love them. I think they're a great company. I love doing business with them. They're they treat people well. From my experience, they treat people well. It is, after all, an airline. It's not what it used to be when I was a kid. All airlines are definitely different from when I was a kid. I remember flying TWA, and it was a different airline. But the way that the airline services today, they're different. And from all those changes that have come into place, I think Skywest has been able to rise above the rest by showing that they treat their customers in a fairly decent way, and that they treat their pilots well, you know, and it shows through the employees. You know, if the employees are treated well, it trickles down to the customers. To me, I think customer service is a really important part of being of operating an airport, and so it just, you know, we just got to do our best to make sure that the customer is always first.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Nathan, because you told me about the people that are here, from the TSA screeners to the ticket people, to the baggage handlers and that type thing. These are all people that really have a closer tie to passengers in the community, don't they?
Yes, and so like we were talking about a little bit earlier, you know, let's say we go to Denver. By the time you get to Denver, you might not be in the best of moods already. You've already driven 4.5 hours at least. By the time you get there, you got to pay for parking, and you've been driving around the parking lot for who knows how long. And then you get to the terminal, and then you got to go through screening unless you've already booked your ticket. You know, there's one airport that I went to. I had a car seat, and I didn't know how to book the car seat. And the lady, she's like, you know, you just do it like this. And we're like, well, I have no idea. The customer service was really lacking. But here we have good TSA agents. They're local people. We have good ticket. We have good people that work for Skywest, and they're local. And you know, I live here in town, and it's definitely something that I really like. You know, larger airports, the customer service does seem to fall off. And it suffers, and you can tell. But here we have free parking, we have good attitudes. I mean, you know, granted there are other days that not everything works the way it should, but we do our best to make you, the passenger, to accommodate you the best way we know how. And you know, I'm possibly thinking about other ways all the time just to figure out what I can do for you, the passenger. So.
Yeah, it's amazing because Jeff and I, when we came in, we parked 10 feet away from the front door, you know.
Right.
So it's that type of thing, I think, that makes it so nice.
Well,
airport duties as a manager.
Okay, so part of my duties include promoting the airline, I know that sounds weird, because you know, I am working for the city, and you're like, well, why are you promoting the airline? But promoting the airline is important because, you know, the airline doesn't, they have many different cities, and one of the things that they expect is for the cities to do their best to promote the airline, to look for funding, for being able to be solvent, to, you know, so I can have money to make the airport as safe as a place as it can be. Well, my job includes even plowing snow. There's not very many of us here. It's a regional airport. Some regional airports have, you know, more resources.
Which you got to pass on this past winter, we should mention, probably for the most part, on plowing the snow, right?
Well, I mean, so a little bit. I mean, I think when you guys think of snow, you're thinking about inches of snow, but you know, even like that 1/8 of an inch can make a big deal. And if I leave it there, it turns into ice, and then flights get canceled. And the last thing I really want is a flight to be canceled because it was my fault. You know, I've expressed to the pilots that worked for Skywest in the past, I'm going to do everything I can for you to get you in and out in a timely manner. And you know, for the most part, I've done exactly that, and I'm really proud of the work that we've done. And I'm really proud of Rick Hines, who's my maintenance operator. He's a hard-working guy, and he's just, I don't know, I can't say enough about him. You know, without him, this airport would be sorely lacking. I just can't do it by myself.
Well, you kind of relate to these pilots anyway, having a pilot background yourself.
I don't want to land on something that I'm afraid that it's gonna make me either slide to the side or at the end of the runway. The last thing I want to know is that the first thing I want to know is that the runway is safe. There's, you know, that I'm not gonna. I mean, an airport to me means safe harbor. You know, just like a boat, a harbor, you know, is a safe place. An airport should be a safe place for those pilots as well.
Well, you're certainly a good representation of the Hayes Regional Airport,
Well,
believe me.
thank you very much.
Our manager of the Hayes Regional Airport and our guest on the Community Connection, Nathan Marcucci. Thanks for watching.
Angels Care Home Health, serving Hayes and the surrounding areas, is a Medicare-certified home health agency providing quality skilled nursing and restorative therapy services to patients in their homes.
There's not any words to describe their kindness.
Angels Care is there to help 24 hours a day, and all services are covered 100% by Medicare for patients who are eligible. Angels Care Home Health. We serve patients.
They saved my life.